Friday Night Fights on ESPN2. We are set for the main event from the Roxy in Boston, Massachusetts. The WBA eliminator for the featherweight division. Angel Vazquez from Hartford, Connecticut, and Victor Polo fighting out of Las Vegas by way of Boulevard, Colombia. A very important matchup in the WBA landscape. Let's focus in on the main event. Tonight, the WBA featherweight eliminator is at stake. Angel Vazquez squares off against Victor Polo, number 3 against number 2. The 31-year-old Vazquez was born in Puerto Rico, now fighting out of Hartford, Connecticut. Two-time USBA featherweight champion with a 21-0 record and 16 knockouts. He packs a lot of power in that 5'7" frame. We saw Vazquez dispose of Jose Pantaleon in May of this year here on Friday Night Fights, and he did it in convincing fashion in the second round. In his last fight in July, he took on Max Gomez. Sort of a lackluster affair as far as Vazquez was concerned. He won a unanimous decision, but Vazquez had the flu going in and suffered a broken fingernail leading into the fight. He expects better. 30-year-old Victor Polo is from Colombia, now fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada. 28 wins, 22 knockouts. He has fought for a featherweight championship back in 1999, losing a technical decision to Manuel Medina. His last fight was June the 3rd of this year, a 6-round decision against Marcos Badillo. By Polo's own admission, this was a fight to stay busy. Nothing more, nothing less. A lot at stake for Polo, a lot at stake for Vazquez. They size it up.
All fights to me are the same. I'm not going to be intimidated by anybody. I prepare myself well, and let the best man win.
Yes, this fight is very important for me because beating Vazquez is going to open the door for me to the big boxing and especially for the title.
Victor Polo ready tonight. Ranked number 2 by the WBA. 27 of his 32 pro fights have been in the country of Colombia. He is a southpaw. Angel Nito Vazquez, born in Puerto Rico, fighting out of Hartford, Connecticut with trainer George Cruz. You just saw him to your left. Two-time USBA featherweight champion. Time for strategy and Atlas's World.
Don't get me wrong, Victor Polo is a good offensive fighter, technically sound, but his opponent Angel Vazquez is even more technically solid, a bit faster and much more explosive. Watch here as Vazquez, a very efficient and smooth offensive fighter, stays in his rhythm and keeps the offensive flow going uninterrupted until he moves his opponent into a big right hand. He's also smart and fundamentally sound. Here he throws his right hand and moves himself over to the left side, avoiding his opponent's return right hand. But if this fight goes into the later rounds, watch for Vazquez to drop his hands and clown around. This is a sign that he's frustrated. With his hands low, this could be an opportunity for Polo. But Polo's strategy for this fight should be to use his height and reach in southpaw style. He's tall, rangy, and has long arms, and will want to keep Vazquez at the end of his jab. Defensively, these guys are pretty even. A key to watch for will be if Polo's chin can withstand the blows he is certain to meet from Vazquez's hooks and crosses. The intangibles. Vazquez has shown he can be frustrated when things don't go well. If he drops his hands and clowns around, can Polo land? This will frustrate Vazquez even more. Both fighters have chins that can be questioned. Who will get to the others first?
So Victor Polo coming into Angel Vazquez's backyard. He is 30 years of age, 5'7", 124 pounds. His last 5 opponents a combined winning percentage of 62%. He's got a couple of 6-rounders in there. Said he just wanted to stay busy, couldn't get any fights. He's ranked 4th by the IBF as well. So there is Victor Polo. And his opponent, ranked number 3 by the WBA and the IBF, 31-year-old Angel Vazquez. He tipped the scales at 125 pounds. Now fighting out of Hartford, Connecticut, born in Puerto Rico. His last 5 opponents, a winning percentage of 68%. He's had a couple of 12-rounders in there, winning the vacant USBA title against Bernard Harris here on Friday Night Fights, and then defending it against Max Gomez. Suffered a broken right thumbnail with an uppercut in the first round against Gomez, and caused him a lot of problems. He said he had the flu going into that fight, so he was not at the top of his game. Jerry Leone is our referee for tonight's main event, and when they will use the unified rules in this WBA and IBF eliminator. And they are as follows. No 3 knockdown rule, no standing 8 count. Only the referee can stop it. Fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round. Accidental cuts will go to the scorecards after 4 rounds are complete. And there is Angel Vazquez. 6 first-round knockouts in his career. In fact, 14 of his 16 have come in the first 4 rounds. Polo has recorded 2 knockouts past the 6th round. As we mentioned earlier, not a huge ring, 18 feet by 18 feet inside the ropes. And we are underway, round number 1. Vazquez in the white, Polo in the red. Polo the southpaw. Vazquez did some work with Fredo Rivera, getting ready for this fight, working with the southpaw.
When you're talking about forearm punches, you're talking about Vazquez. He has that kind of pop in his hands. Polo the southpaw wants to take advantage of being a southpaw. Moves to his right a little bit, use those long arms.
Polo in the featherweight division was ranked number 1 by the IBF in April of '99. Took on Manuel Medina. Medina was hurt in the first round, but he was able to come on in the fight. Polo lost the point in the 3rd round for a low blow. Clash of heads in the 9th, and Medina was ahead on the scorecards, winning it on a technical decision in the 9th round.
Polo fought Medina for that title. He was rated number 1. And he also got hit a lot of lead right hands from our scouting reports in that fight. And of course, a lot of trainers, when they're charges of fighting southpaws like Vazquez is, they like to throw right hands. A lot of the old-time trainers felt the lead right hand, sneak into position, lead right hands, that was the way to go with the southpaw.
Teddy CompuBox provided a breakdown of some of the last fights for Angel Vazquez, and one of the problems that he's had, he has that very good right hand, but he hasn't done a very good job of establishing his jab, only connecting in the select group of fights that CompuBox pulled the data from, only connecting with 3 out of 25 jabs around. And by his own admission, when we spoke with him, he said he really does need to establish that a little bit more to set up that right hand.
Well, Vazquez is going to need that jab with the taller Polo. Polo continues to use his height. That time, Vazquez used the jab to close the gap, but he didn't stay there. You work your way in with a taller man, the man who's technically sound like Polo. You want to take advantage of getting in there. You want to do something. I think Vazquez is going to have to think about going to the body, that lean body of Polo. Take those legs away a little bit. What's going to be interesting in this fight is what happens when Polo gets hit by Vazquez. That might tell the whole fight. Right now, Polo fighting a fairly strategic fight. Keeping it long, as they say. Keeping some space between him and Vazquez. Using those long arms. Not letting a power punch of Vazquez walk right in.
The final seconds of round number 1, feeling out process. Angel Vazquez and Victor Polo. We check in with Brian and Max.
Just want to get you up to date on the fights going on at Auburn Hills, Michigan. Layla Ali, with her father ringside, wins a decision in 6 rounds. Beats a very tough Kendra Lenhart. Kendra Lenhart showed a lot of heart as well. We've seen her as well here on Friday Night Fights. But Ali is the winner. Gentlemen?
All right, thank you very much, Brian and Max. Angel Vazquez, Victor Polo underway. Getting set for the start of round number 2. George Cruz in the corner of Vazquez. Take a look at the featherweights right now. Derek Gainer awaiting the winner of this fight in this WBA eliminator, because the number 1 ranking in the WBA is vacant right now. So next up for these two, Derek Gainer, Paul Engel in the mix, because both of these guys are also ranked in the top 4 in the IBF. Sort of what you expected in round number 1, sort of a feeling out process? Sort of what you expected in that first round?
Yeah, Polo, the taller man, the southpaw, taking advantage of being a taller guy. Keeping it outside, stretching those arms out a little bit. making Vazquez work for anything he's going to get. And hoping to frustrate Vazquez as he's doing what he's doing.
I tell you, take a look at the numbers in round number 1. Here's the important number. Polo landed with 1 of 53 jabs. Vazquez landed 1 of 21 jabs. So
Vazquez is going to have to use that jab if he's going to get in close to the taller Polo. Unless he gets Polo to cooperate, which he's starting to press forward a little bit now, Polo, and walk into a counter. More ways than one, Bob, to skin a cat. You have a taller man, you can use your jab, take that taller man's jab away, work your way in. Or sometimes you can step out and fight the taller man in. And then unload something.
good left hand there by Polo. Vazquez coming up. Polo does the right thing and just keeps swinging to the body.
I don't know if we're going to get a spot to see it again, but Vazquez has a habit sometimes inside of putting his hands behind the neck, the head of Polo, and then punching, holding Polo or holding his opponent still. Now, of course, that is a foul, but the referee has to be in position to see it. This is where Vazquez should be going with the body, that lean body of Polo. Polo is technically sound, as we said at the top. Defensively, he knows what he's doing. Can't hit that head. Hit the body. Start to freeze that head a little bit.
Well, Polo did a decent job on the inside earlier.
This might just come down, as I said earlier, to what happens when and if Polo gets hit.
That time Polo was at the end of the punches from Vazquez.
Vazquez is having problems with those long arms of Polo and the busy pace of Polo. Polo's throwing plenty of leather.
So to push those punches out.
Sometimes a good offense is a good defense. Polo is keeping enough leather on the explosive Vazquez to keep Vazquez from setting up any bombs.
I tell you, Polo's done a good job of working the body.
He's mixed it up real well. He's a sound, well-taught fighter.
Pretty good round two for Victor Polo as he and Vazquez get tied up. Scheduled for 12. We're at the Roxy in Boston, Massachusetts. Glad you can join us. Bob Papa along with Teddy Atlas, the WBA featherweight eliminator. Between Angel Vazquez in the white trunks and Victor Polo in the red. Good tactical bout through the first two rounds, Teddy.
Polo's doing just the way you would draw it up on the chalkboard, like they say. Using his physical assets. Using those long arms. And keeping the big punching Vazquez at bay.
Well, we showed you the CompuBox numbers. Vazquez is just 1 of 41 with the jab so far in the fight.
And the only way Vazquez will get it done if he doesn't use that jab with the taller man is if he walks Polo into a sucker punch or a counter punch. Which he looks like he's trying to do right now. That's the spot Vazquez is looking for. And the bad news for Vazquez, Polo handled it well. And those spots could tell the fight, Bob. If Polo can handle those spot punches of Vazquez and keep it to spot punches, he can win this fight.
3 judges, Vinnie Lee of Massachusetts, William Mutt of Connecticut, and Gene Williams from New Jersey.
Nice little setup by Polo inside. He was inside, then he took a little step back and moved Vazquez into a left hand. Strategy. Science. Smart.
Gene Williams, a familiar name for those who are Holyfield Lennox Lewis fans.
The infamous, some people would say, Eugene Williams. The first Holyfield Lewis fight in Madison Square Garden, which most people thought was an atrocious decision. Eugene Williams had Holyfield winning that fight.
Fortunately tonight there are no cameramen there. A good counter left hand by Vazquez, but Polo steps right in.
This is what Vazquez was looking for. Getting Polo not to use his size, to get in close where Vazquez can counter. The only problem is, again, Polo handled that left hook.
I was just going to ask you that. You know, Polo didn't even flinch.
Vazquez is going to have to land 2 at a time instead of 1. Stop thinking like a puncher where 1 punch and you go home. Put 2 together. You can hit a man with 2, don't hit him with 1. Even if you are a dynamite puncher.
Left hand, Vazquez blocked most of that, and then Polo blocks most of that return fire. So
Vazquez might have come into this fight thinking as soon as he lands, it's over. And if he did, he might not be prepared for what's going on.
Polo not backing down. Bell sounds. We begin round number 4. WBA featherweight eliminator. Angel Vazquez in the white, Victor Polo in the red. Polo ranked number 2 by the WBA, Vazquez number 3. And so far, Polo has taken some of Vazquez's better shots and has not even taken a half step backward. And he's landed quite a bit. We take a look at the punch numbers through 3 rounds. Vazquez so far in the fight is 1 for 55 in his jabs. He's only landed 1 of 55 jabs so far. Not Will McIntyre yet, but obviously Vazquez doing a lot more things than McIntyre did last week against Dana Rosenberg.
Again, Vazquez is looking for cooperation instead of taking things into his own hand. He's looking for Polo to help him land the punch. He's looking for Polo to give up his height and to walk in. Right now, you can see Vazquez is looking for that. He's looking for Polo to walk into a counter punch, into a sucker punch, instead of using his jab to close the gaps and set up that big punch.
You know, Polo has a lot more experience than Vazquez. He's had 11 more fights as a pro. 169 rounds compared to 85 for Vazquez. Vazquez has had a lot of inactivity in his sport because of management problems. So Polo's the more seasoned of the 2.
Again, Vazquez landed a good left hook, but no right hand with it. There's that left hand behind the neck again. Referee saw it.
Teddy, you have it a shutout for Polo. I gave Vazquez the first round. I have it a bit closer.
When Vazquez puts that hand behind the neck of Polo, he's a little frustrated. He's trying to hold his man still so he can land an uppercut.
There's a left hand up top from Vazquez.
No right hand with it. I told him one thing in the corner when he comes back. If I was in Vazquez's corner, I'd say, if you land the left hook, put the right hand with it. If you land the right hand, put the left hook with it.
Teddy, is Vazquez going the wrong way against the lefty?
The way that traditionally, the way as far as the textbook tells you, yes, he is. He's moving into the backhand, into the power hand of the southpaw. Most trainers want their fighter, orthodox fighter, to move to his left. Keep his left foot outside the right foot, the lead foot of the southpaw. Take away that left hand.
Nice combination from Polo.
Vazquez is moving right into the hub of the southpaw. Right into that backhand. If you move to your left with the southpaw, you take that punch away. Also, you get a better angle for your left hand.
Polo's putting his punches together here.
Vazquez is not ready. I don't think. I know it's early for me to say this. I don't think he was ready for this kind of resistance. He might still get his way, but you never know. Okay. Here's a foul. Of course, he hasn't hit him yet, but it's still a foul. Left hand behind the neck of Polo. Vazquez is trying to hold him still so he can get a shot off. But the referee saw it that time. A lot of times the fighters will do it when the referee is on the other side. So he can't stop you from doing it. He can't call you on it. That time the referee was in good position.
Can you wipe up the water for me?
We got it.
Bell sounds to begin round number 5. According to CompuBox, through the first 4 rounds, Polo has thrown almost 200 more punches than Vazquez. 392 to 198, and Polo has doubled them up in the connect, 73 to 37.
Vazquez is trying to set up the right hand at the beginning of this round. Went to the body with it. He's pouring with his jab. He's trying to get measurement for that right hand. Now, Polo snaps out his jab. He will not allow Vazquez to set that up, and that's exactly what Polo's doing. Polo just has to be careful when he walks forward. You like your guy to be aggressive, but you want him to be smart. When he walks forward with the shorter Vazquez, he does get closer to that power of Vazquez.
You know, Teddy, when a right-hander fights a southpaw, one of the standard things is the old foot. Make sure that your foot's on the outside of the other guy's foot. For most of this fight, Polo has had his right foot in the proper spot.
Yes, he has.
And that's because Vazquez hasn't circled to his left enough, correct?
Yes, it is. Vazquez is moving to his right. Right now he's moving to his left, but he's been moving to his right much too much. Two things happen when the orthodox fighter, which is Vazquez in this case, moves to his right with his southpaw. You move into the backhand, the power hand, and also you take your ability away to use your jab. It's very hard to get a comfortable angle for a jab when you move into your right with a southpaw.
Vazquez has a very good trainer in his corner, and George Cruz, and George warning him about that. And we've seen here in round 5, Vazquez doing a lot more movement to his left. When he lapses in the circle into his right, that he seems to get tagged.
I don't know how the judges have it, and I don't know if it's going to go to the scorecards, because with Vazquez, he can always land the bomb. But I have Polo controlling this fight.
As we mentioned earlier, one judge is from Massachusetts, the other one from Vazquez's home state of Connecticut.
Polo did a nice job there. Kept his range he wanted to keep. When he got too close, he stepped out at a safe distance. Got distance again. Moved after he punched.
Good right hook to the body by Polo. Vazquez making Polo miss here.
Polo has to be careful he doesn't get moved into a trap on those ropes.
Or move out of a trap. He went straight back.
This is where Polo should go to the body. There's the hand behind the head again of Vazquez. Trying to tie up Polo this time.
Don't hold. Box.
Vazquez is having a tough night here.
Well, you'd expect that from Polo, ranked number 2 by the WBA. Welcome back to the Roxy in Boston. Bob Hoppo along with Teddy Atlas. Glad you can join us. Angel Vazquez, Victor Polo, WBA featherweight eliminator. Vazquez in the white, Polo in the red. Vazquez has a cut on the left eyebrow. Referee Jerry Leone telling us that that was from a punch. Take a look at the punch numbers in round number 5. Those are punch numbers from round 5, not round 4, round 5. Polo landed 22 power shots of those 29. You see Vazquez wiping at that left eye. Remember now, if this fight gets stopped, doesn't go to the cards, Vazquez gets tagged. It's a TKO for Polo. Vazquez is in trouble, Teddy.
Yes, he is in trouble. For a second there, I thought he was playing possum, to be honest with you. But he's in bad trouble.
He got knocked down by the referee.
And his eye is bothering him. He keeps,
You know what, Teddy?
playing with that eye.
I think the eye has got him distracted. I think it's causing him great concern. He looks a little wobbly, too.
He almost looks like he wants the referee to see that he's wobbly. It's kind of funny.
Has he really been hit with any clean shots here in this round?
I didn't see it, but he's not acting too good right now. But again, he has big power. Watch for a bomb to be unleashed all of a sudden.
He's holding beyond the head. He lets go there.
Step back.
This is odd circumstances here in round 6. I didn't see any punch that looked like it hurt Vazquez, but he's been kind of waffling around like he was hurt. And maybe he just doesn't like seeing his own blood.
Although he has been cut before in past fights, so you would think that he's been through that already. A lot of times you make a good point. A lot of times undefeated fighters, the first time they're cut, they don't handle it well. But he has been through this before. So you would think he's been conditioned to this kind of situation.
Well, there it goes. But Polo doesn't even flinch, Teddy. And he answers with a right hand of his own.
And if Polo survives this, Vazquez might be in a lot of trouble because psychologically and physically he might be spent.
Polo's legs didn't even buckle after that combination.
And if Vazquez can't hurt a guy, and that's his forte, he's got problems. Especially with a guy like Polo, who has already shown he's a real game-busy fighter and technically solid.
Hey, it looks like Vazquez is hoping to just land one punch, and he has no interest in the last 6 rounds and 18 seconds.
No, he looks like he's falling apart mentally. You're right. He's looking to land one big punch. And now if that doesn't work for him, what kind of mental condition will he be in for the rest of the fight?
A very odd performance here by Angel Vazquez to start the 6th round. There's the bell to end it. And we're going to take you to the corner of Vazquez, and his trainer is George Cruz, Saul Avilar, to translate.
Say stop bleeding. I'm going to get it right now with the adrenaline.
That one's easy for you, Saul.
Okay, cierra el ojo. Ciérralo.
Close your eye. Just close your eye.
Ciérralo.
Close.
Ciérralo. Ya lo cerrado. Lo quiero
Keep your eye
cerrado.
closed. Maintain it closed.
Para aguantar esto. Que no se te vaya.
Give me some water. Give me some water.
Here, Polo is on the attack here. And there's a left hand that hurt Vazquez as Vazquez was pulling out. And he just did not act well. After that, he tried to hold on. And for a while there, he looked like he had no legs at all underneath him. And then towards the end of the round, he looked to land a bomb from an unsuspecting Polo.
Well, Teddy told us he was in great shape in his last fight against Gomez. He had the flu. There's Vazquez trying to open up. But Polo hasn't flinched once from any of his power shots. So no excuses this time, Vazquez said. You'll see his best.
Vazquez is sitting in the pocket here. Allow Polo to throw as he's defending against him in close, where he can block and where he can dip inside the punches. And he was looking for Polo to stand up, where he can explode. He's looking to catch Polo in between one of those punches there, Bob.
You saw the numbers from the last round. Vazquez landing just 5 of 24 punches, while Polo threw 101.
Now I think Vazquez is playing possum a little bit. Getting a little desperate, trying to get Polo to walk in.
But Teddy, when you've done that, and you've hit Polo with some pretty solid shots, as Vazquez has at certain points, and the guy hasn't even taken a half step back, don't you think you need to start, like, boxing?
When you've fallen into a trap or into a mode of looking for one punch, it's hard to get out of that trap. Hard to get out of that pattern. Especially, which is very possible. We said it right at the top. Vazquez might have went into this fight thinking, hey, I don't care what you people say. When I land something, we're going home. And if he's prepared that way, then mentally, he's not prepared to fight a consistent fight. And he can only do what he's doing. Looking for spots. Looking to get fortunate. Looking for Polo to stand up straight a little too long. Get greedy a little bit. Maybe throw 4 punches instead of 3 from the middle. And let Vazquez come back and catch Polo.
Since we're on the eve of the World Series, Vazquez could be making a mistake trying to count on the walk-off homer. Doesn't always happen.
As he can be. And there's that holding behind the head, the referee right on top of him. Earlier when we saw Vazquez bothered by his eye, that may have been the coagulant, the adrenaline flowing. Some of it may have went into the eye, and that can be irritating.
But Teddy, you know, in between rounds 6 and 7, George Cruz obviously working on the cut because he handles the cut and the training. Not a lot of advice going to Vazquez, other than close your eye.
That's the problem when a guy's working on a cut. I like to hire a cut man because this way he can take care of the cut. I can concentrate on the advice to the fighter. When you're the trainer, the head trainer, and you have to do the cut and the training, you can be preoccupied a little bit.
Good left hand by Vazquez to punctuate the end of round 7. It's set for the start of round number 8 here at the Roxy in Boston.
Double dip, time in, Lee.
Referee Jerry Leone wanting the water cleaned out of Vazquez's corner. Vazquez has been hurt in this round, cut over the left eye. Victor Polo, been in Las Vegas for 10 months.
Thank you.
Born and raised in Colombia. Number 2 ranked WBA featherweight in this eliminator bout against Vazquez, number 3 punch numbers through 7. Heavily in favor of Polo. Heavily in favor of Polo. He has taken some of the better shots from Vazquez and never flinched. Vazquez has looked shaky at numerous times in this fight.
I have to say, Polo has shown a better chin than I expected him to display after being knocked out. Of course, it was back in '92 by Boyce's Pedroza.
And it was early in Polo's career. Vazquez looking for the big punch. Now he's trying to do a little bit more boxing. Last couple of rounds, he just made believe he was hurt and then just tried to land some big bombs.
You get the feeling that my appraisal of what might have happened in training for this fight might be, at least maybe, a little close to being accurate. That maybe Vazquez came in here thinking he was just going to land, he was going to go home, because he doesn't have any definitive fight plan in this fight. One second he's boxing, the next second he's pressing forward, then he's back to just laying out in front. It's not like he has any one definite game plan of how to handle the taller southpaw. There's a holding behind the head again.
And let's see, are they going to take the ball away?
Okay.
It's about the second or third time he's been warned for that. But Teddy, you know, Friday Night Fight spoke with him yesterday in pre-fight interviews as always. And he said that he was totally prepared. He worked with Wilfredo Rivera, a boxer in the Hartford area. Southpaw. Said he's covered every base.
Wilfredo Rivera is in the corner of Vazquez. Wilfredo Rivera fought for the world title against Pernell Whitaker 2 times. Very close fights. Also was stopped by Oscar De La Hoya in a welterweight fight. Former top contender, Wilfredo Rivera.
Hey, sometimes isn't it what the opponent does that forces you to not look great? I mean, you got to give the other guy credit. I mean,
no doubt about it.
Vazquez told us all the things that you want to hear about how he's ready, how he's not looking for the bomb, he just wants to win, and he's prepared. So maybe it's what Polo's doing that's making him look off.
Yes, I don't discount that, but maybe Vazquez lied to you a little bit. That's possible. Fighters do fib. They say they're prepared, even though they might have went in there in training camp thinking they were just going to score one-punch knockout. They're not going to tell you that.
Vazquez winging away, but not connecting often enough. Round number 9 underway. Angel Vazquez, Victor Polo. Polo in the red, Vazquez in the white. No knockdowns in the fight. Vazquez is rocky, though, in rounds 5 and 6, trying to land a big shot. When he has landed clean punches against Polo, Polo has not even flinched. Polo has been much busier and more accurate.
Well, that time, Vazquez got in the kitchen, like they say, got in close. But he did not go to that belly, to the body of the lean, tall Polo. I believe if he goes to that body, maybe he'll take the legs away. Although it's getting a little late in the game. But definitely, if Vazquez would go to that body, he could slow the head movement down, because Polo, defensively, very solid.
All right, we mentioned that Angel gets good advice in his corner. Whether he follows it or not is another thing. And joining us right now, the trainer of Angel Vazquez, George Cruz. George, Bob Papa, Teddy Atlas. Do you feel that your guy is not sticking to the game plan? He seems to be doing a lot of chasing.
Right, we wanted to go to the body. He's not going to that body enough. He got tremendous left hook to the body, but he's not using it. Then if he comes upstairs with it, he'll catch the guy. If you notice, when the guy throws the left or right, he drops his left. When he throws his left, he drops his right. If he exchanges with him, he's going to catch him.
George, it seems that Angel has done a lot of moving to his right against the southpaw. Would you like to see him go the other way a little bit more?
Well, we worked on him moving to his left. And, you know, the bell rings and all of a sudden something happens.
George, who's Teddy here? You think your guy's losing? We have losing. Yeah.
I think it's a close fight. I think he's losing by 2 points.
You think he's getting behind the 8 ball a little bit here, looking for the knockout?
Yeah.
Instead of doing what you want him to do,
right.
Use that jab, go to the body?
Use the jab, go to the body, slow him down, and then catch up to him.
Other than the cut, no other injuries, though, right, George?
No other injuries. I'm got my hands full with the cut. It's a pretty good-sized cut, but I think we got it in control.
All right, George, thank you very much. Well, you know, we've had it before. We had it with Antonio Diaz when we were out in Indio, California, and His corner told us that their guy was losing. Might have gotten a gift decision, and George very honest. But my guy's losing by 2 points right now, which is alarming because after what we saw with the Tomasello-Dotsy fight. And just to update, the latest update that we have about Tomasello, we have to get this in there. He passed out after he came back into the ring when the fight was declared a draw. He blacked out, stopped breathing, was taken to New England Medical Center, and he is being attended to by the doctors. We have not had any further update on Bobby Tomasello, but as soon as we get something, we will pass that along to you.
Once again, all our prayers and wishes are with Bobby Tomasello.
Well, frustrated George Cruz in the corner of his man, Angel Vazquez, not doing a lot to win his trainer's confidence right now.
Well, in our intangibles setting up this main event fight, we talked about if Polo can get Cruz into the late rounds, use his height, use his southpaw style, maybe he'll frustrate Cruz, get him to drop his hands. Get Cruz, or Vazquez, I'm sorry, to drop his hands and clown a little bit. Well, it looks like that has happened to a degree here. Polo frustrating Vazquez, getting Vazquez to drop his hands, which he has done in past fights.
What do you make of this measuring by Vazquez as opposed to a good jab? Is that because he is a little confused by the southpaw?
Yes, it is, and it's also because he's looking for one punch.
Well, jab numbers in this fight, through 9 rounds, Vazquez has landed only 5 jabs. He's 5 of 132. I mean, Polo's 35 of 381, not a great percentage. The fact that Vazquez has only thrown 132 and landed just 5, one of the reasons why he hasn't been able to set up that right hand.
You know, sometimes when guys are frustrated, they tell you, I'm not frustrated, and people aren't sure if they are. But there's sometimes a telltale sign that a fighter doesn't even realize that he can't hide it. And one of those telltale signs, at least in my estimation, in my judgment, is that Vazquez has done this in past fights. When he's been frustrated, when he's been a little bit bothered by the style of the other opponent, hasn't gotten his way, he's done what he's doing here. He drops his hands. He might tell you he's not frustrated, but just look. He drops his hands, he clowns, he tries to make it look like he doesn't care. Kind of like Pinocchio when his nose grows long when he lies.
All right, Mr. Geppetto. Teddy's scorecard, 89-83 for Polo. Teddy has the customary even round thrown in there.
Don't hit him. Come on.
I have it 87-84 for Polo.
We've seen Vazquez do this before. We've seen him in fights where he's had tough moments. Even if he's not getting punched from pillar to post, just where he's not getting his way, where he's turned it into, there's that hand behind the neck, where he's turned it into a clown sort of fest. Almost to say, I don't care about this guy. Like, kind of put the other guy defensive. You know what I mean, Bob? Well, like to make it look like, hey, I don't care what's going on here. You know, I have control.
But with all that said, I mean, Polo's not doing a lot here in this round either.
No, Polo is not taking advantage of those weak spots. He's allowing Vazquez to get off the hook, to get away with that, not making him pay for a fight. And in any fight, you should take advantage of the moment you have the chance to score. Any fight, especially if you're in the other man's hometown, as Polo is here in Boston.
Cannot discount that. One judge is from Massachusetts, one from Connecticut, and the other from New Jersey.
Up the head in. Up the head.
You know, Vazquez looking for that home run. He's never scored a knockout past the 6th round in his career. A lot of posturing in round 10.
Okay, good.
Mirror, mirror on the wall. Does Angel Vazquez like the image that he's seeing? The 21-0 Hartford product in the white trunks with 16 knockouts has fought an uneven, spotty fight to this point. Victor Polo, ranked number 2 by the WBA, in the early part of the fight and in the middle round, stuck to his game plan. Last round, a nondescript round for both guys, and you see Vazquez just winging wild punches. Take a look at the total punch numbers in this fight through 10 rounds, and you see that statistically, according to CompuBox, it's not even close.
Clean inside. Keep it clean. Keep it clean inside. Box.
Like I said, even if you put in a margin of error like they do in those polls, those political polls, it's hard to say that Polo hasn't controlled this bout between the crisper and sharper of the two.
And he's staying close a lot of times, not using that height as he goes back outside and does move to the southpaw style and does use that long jab. But there's been plenty of times where Polo, the taller man, has fought in close, given Vazquez an opportunity to get off those bombs. Vazquez just has not moved his hands enough.
Polo hasn't gone to the body as much as he had earlier in the fight. He had a lot of success winging hooks to the body.
And that can discourage a man from throwing punches. Of course, Vazquez should have been going to the body. Take away some of those legs of Polo.
Well, you heard George Cruz. George very quiet in Vazquez's corner as I look over. Seems very frustrated. When we spoke to George in the middle of round 9, he had his guy down 2 points. And I think even George would be hard-pressed at this point to say that Vazquez has done anything in those ensuing 1.5 rounds to have changed any opinions.
I said it during the Tomasello fight. I couldn't wait to see those scorecards. To me, this is becoming an intriguing fight. Might not be a barnstorm, but Vazquez, a top-rated fighter, I think, is in danger of losing here. I want to see those scorecards. Again, Vazquez, you wonder what he thinks is going on with the scorecard. He's acting like a guy that doesn't have any desperation right now. Wonder if he's depending. Maybe in his mind he thinks it's closer, but maybe he's depending on a hometown close decision. And again, Vazquez has fought the kind of fight where he has not been disciplined consistently throughout this fight. Just fighting in spots. Like when he lands, it's going to be all over. Guess what? It's not over.
The question is, has Polo left enough of an opening for somehow for Vazquez to steal this bout? Well, 11 rounds are complete. Remember, the winner of this fight is going to get a shot with Derek Gainer for the WBA Featherweight Championship. And right now, Victor Polo, it appears, at least to us, has been the better guy. And, you know, very interesting to this point. Vazquez has been spotty. He's been inconsistent so far in this fight. I'll tell you, we have some news to update. Bobby Tomasello got that controversial draw where you and I both thought he lost. More importantly, though, passed out in his locker room, lost breathing. According to a Boston police officer who was in the locker room, he stopped breathing and was in a comatose state. He was rushed to the New England Medical Center. No update yet. The doctors are working on Tomasello, young Bobby Tomasello here of Massachusetts. And once again, we're trying to keep you updated. And our prayers go out to him and his family. Hopefully everything will be okay, but it is a dangerous situation.
Everybody out there, pray for Bobby Tomasello. I'm sure everybody is.
Took a lot of punishment by Steve Dotsey, especially in the last couple of rounds. And you could have made a case for that fight possibly being stopped. Neely was out on his feet in round 9, was knocked down, knocked into the ropes, basically out on his feet again in round number 10. And like I said, hopefully everything works out for Bobby Tomasello, and our prayers are with him. 12th and final round underway. Angel Vazquez, according to the numbers and our eyes here at ringside, Teddy, Victor Polo has controlled this fight. It's been the sharper of the two. Nothing spectacular. And a lot of it, at least early in the fight, Polo did a lot of good things with the body, the combinations. He took Vazquez's power shots. But now it's more of what Vazquez isn't doing that's hurting him than what Polo is doing.
Now it's down to Vazquez needing that power, at least on our scorecards. Needing to fight like a puncher now. The whole fight, he should have been using that jab, setting up punches, controlling the rhythm, controlling the pace. But right now, he's going to have to walk Polo into a sucker punch and use that power. Show that that great eraser that a puncher has can pull him out of the fire, at least on our scorecard.
Yeah, well, that power has not once bothered Polo. Earlier in the fight, Vazquez landed some pretty good shots, and Polo's never flinched. And remember, Vazquez has never scored a knockout past the 6th round in his 16 knockouts.
You know, right now, the way I'm feeling, that if Polo doesn't get this decision, I want to yell. I want to yell about a national commission and say that this is terrible. But right now, we have to be professional, and I know that you have to set things aside, but it's hard to care right now, knowing that Bobby Tomasello is sitting in the hospital. It's kind of hard to get worked up right now about who gets this decision. But
yeah, and we were fired up about the ludicrous scoring of some of the rounds in which Tomasello was outclassed. Now it just doesn't matter.
exactly, it just doesn't matter right now. And I know that in some ways we should almost not say that, because professionally we still want to bring to the fans what's going on and our opinions, and we will do that. But we also know that there's a kid that's in pretty bad shape right now. And again, everybody's praying for him.
Well, Polo has stuck to his game plan. He's abandoned his body attack a little bit. Vazquez has not looked very sharp. He's reaching for that cut again, maybe trying to sucker Polo in. It hasn't worked at any other point in this fight. Polo has shown good head movement, subtle head movement to avoid these blasts.
A lot of swelling in the right eye of Polo. Maybe from a headbutt. It's not going to matter now, late in the fight. Although maybe it will matter, just to the point, it won't matter to the fight being stopped. But maybe it can impair his vision enough for a left hook out of the sky to land for Vazquez. Vazquez should see that swollen eye and try to throw the left hook now. That swollen right eye of Polo. But Vazquez is not doing it.
Vazquez looked for the home run, never got the pitch to hit. And Polo was able to field any shots. There's the bad eye of Victor Polo, but Teddy, you and I have them winners. A lot going on at the Palace in Auburn Hills. Tyson and Galata, Brian and Max have an update. Guys? Thanks, Brian. Friday Night Fights has been presented by Miller High Life and in part by Restore, manufacturers of innovative automotive products. We take a look at the final punch numbers. Angel Vazquez, Victor Polo, WBA featherweight eliminator from the Roxy in Boston. And the numbers heavily in Polo's favor. Jabs, Vazquez landed only 7 of 192 jabs in the fight. Teddy's scorecard, 119-111. Tied at 117-112. Both for Polo as we await for the judges' scorecards to be tallied. And a very, very odd performance by Angel Vazquez. And now we send it up to our ring announcer, Bill Carpenter.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go to the scorecards for your official decision. Judge Vinnie Lee scores the bout 120-108. Judge Gene Williams scores the bout 117-111. And Judge William Hutt scores the bout 116-112. All scoring for your winner by unanimous decision, Victor Polo.
Hey, they got it right here in Boston. Polo. You hear that clapping? That's me. That's me clapping for the judges. That's me.
Polo.
Congratulations, guys.
Victor Polo deserved it. He wins the WBA featherweight eliminator with a unanimous and convincing decision against Angel Vazquez. Brian and Max.